What we then need to do is talk about the process of transcripts. I highly recommend, if you're working with a documentary that is heavily reliant on interviews, as in the whole structure and body and meat of your documentary comes from interviews, you can't go wrong then with working with transcripts. So if I had to go back to my sequence here where everything is all synced together, basically what I want is I want my audio, and I want to use the good audio. I don't want to use the other bad audio, and just work off my A6 clip. So I export. I'll just change the options to make this audio, stereo, all that's not too important. Use enabled tracks to make sure we don't export all the bad audio together. We just want to keep a high quality boom sound. So I'm going to save that, and I'll just pop that on the desktop for now. The advantage of using WAV files is that video files can be a little bit clunky and big, and not everybody has the right codecs, not everybody's working in DNx HD, and then I'd have to convert it to something else. It's a complete nightmare. In fact, I suggest after exporting it from Avid that you maybe even convert it to something smaller like an MP3. You can just use iTunes for that. After you've done that, you can put it on the Dropbox. These audio files then go out to the rest of the crew, who will have to go through the pretty boring process. There's no easy way to do it. You pretty much just have to write down what everybody says. And that's quite a labor-intensive process. And basically you'd play your audio file that we just created.
The Black Sash is one of the 5 organizations who applied.
Write down what he just said. You get the idea. So once the whole transcript has been written up by some poor unfortunate second-year student, you'll end up with something like this. Usually isn't too important how it's been written down. Some people like to put in time code, but that's not really necessary. The point is you write down everything that everybody says. After that's been done, my directors will go through and make notes. See, he made some comments. Dante said class action lawsuit. That he said bread cartel. What he's doing is he's finding interesting sections of the interview and categorizing them. So he's gone through quite laboriously to find themes in this transcript, themes that will later help us tie it all together. This process takes quite a long time and is also very difficult. But once that's done and they've found and highlighted the interesting material, we then begin the construction of the paper edit. So this is the structure overview document where our scriptwriters have decided what are the narrative beats. This is your typical 3-act structure, and within that 3-act, all the different narrative beats about how you put together a compelling story. Within that, we have specific themes that are relevant to our story. So here for our inciting incident, we have Imran talking about how he figured out how the collusion happened, etc. Then the controlling idea comes in later with the moral premise, refusal of a call. You get the idea. After we've done that, we've gone through the transcripts and we start the paper edit master document that goes through each section of the narrative. So our ordinary world, inciting incident, etc. What they've done here is they've copy-pasted that section of text from the transcript. We also see that we're using a coding system. They're the content IMR2A, which corresponds to our document in the transcripts. So now we start to get a general idea of the structure. We're organizing everything according to the themes, and we're finding the relevant text from the interviews. Remember, this is not a voiceover-driven documentary. This is an interview-driven documentary. So we're relying entirely on what our interview subjects are saying to put together the story.